Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome to English with Shalini, and in this video we are going to discuss a poem I Know Why the Caged Birds Sing, and this is written by Maya Angelou. And who was Maya Angelou? She was from Afro-American origin and she belonged to America. She was a black woman and in America at that time there was a very much discrimination against black Americans. So now circumstances have changed for the better, but at that time it was very bad. So this poem is a powerful expression of the voice of black Americans and their longing and struggle for freedom and equality. They were highly discriminated. So it has been written by Maya Angelou, and she was a powerful feminist writer of Afro American ethnicity. Now, in this poem, and there are two birds in the poem. First bird is free, and it represents white Americans. And this bird is free, and it leads life of dignity and grandeur, and it has all the facilities in life. It is enjoying, and it continues to enjoy life and broadens its horizon. But at the other hand, there is another bird, and which is caged, and it represents black Americans. And this caged bird is leading a life of fear and longing and subjugation. It is pining for the freedom. And this caged bird continued to sink deeper and deeper into the negation of its very existence. But one thing is important, this caged bird is singing a song. It is singing a song for the desire of freedom, it desiring freedom. So, the poem describes the opposing experience between the two birds. One bird is able to live in nature as it pleases, while the different caged bird suffers in captivity. Now, the latter bird sings both to cope with its circumstances and to express its own longing for freedom. Using the extended metaphor of these two birds, Maya Angelou paints a critical portrait of oppressions in which she illuminates the privilege and entitlement of the unoppressed and convey the simultaneous experience of suffering and emotional resilience of black Americans. So, in the particular, the poem's extended metaphor can be seen as a portraying the experience of being a black person in America. She is telling about her experience through this poem. Now, this is the picture of Maya Angelou. Now she has died. We will start the poem. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips its wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. So here poem begins with the striking image of a free bird leaping on the back of the wind, that is flying with the wind. The wind carries the free bird along with itself, and it means that circumstances are very favorable for the free bird. He is enjoying the political situation, and means that it is representing the people, black people, the white people who are enjoying the political situation, and it floats downstream till the current ends. So this means that birds then glides smoothly along with the current of the wind, and he does not make any effort, just current is taking him along, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays. So this means that the bird is able to fly without any restrictions or any challenge, and he can enjoy the beauty and the sunset and the beauty and the resources of the world. So it is an image of a sunset over the river, and the free bird is able to enjoy everything and dare to claim the sky. So the free bird is very bold and is confident, and he is asserting his rights upon everything. over the sky, over the world. And sky means limitless possibilities, limitless resources, limitless grandeur. And free bird says that all all of this is his and his only. So this is the case. So this free bird is a representation of the white Americans who are enjoying the favorable conditions, political conditions of that America at that time, and they are enjoying everything, and they are not ready to share this enjoyment with their fellow black people. They are hating them. They are just being selfishly enjoying their life. Now next, but a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. So now the second image. So now second stanza shows just the opposite image, contrasting condition of the caged bird. And this caged bird is a representation of the black Americans. Uh, and that group belongs Maya Angelou, the writer, the poetess belong to this group. And this caged bird that stalked down his narrow cage. It is confined in the narrow cage, and so while the free bird is enjoying the life and enjoying the circumstances that are his is in favor, and claim the entire sky on his own, on the other hand the caged bird live in a age and live in the cage which is narrow, and it's narrow and confined and restricted, and only he can move up and down with frustration, and it's fluttering in with the frustration in this cage, and can seldom see through his bars of rage. So the caged bird cannot even see and cannot even fathom the situation, that how his plight is worse, and he has no true idea of the limitless possibilities and limitless resources that free bird is enjoying outside his cage. Now he can hardly see anything through the bars of rage and bars of anger all around his cage. Now, what are these bars of rage? It is a racial discrimination and subjugation for the black Americans. It is a hatred of white Americans towards the black Americans. And these bars of rage are also the sadness, the frustration, the anger, the fury, and the fear felt by the black Americans living in America. And this caged bird is representing the oppressed black American. Caged bird is trapped, so he cannot see anything, cannot plan anything, and cannot hope, and cannot dream even. And his thinking has become narrow. He is in survival mode only. Now his wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. So he can hardly move in his narrow cage. The only thing that he can do now in order to express itself or in himself is to sing. He can just sing of his suffering. He can tell the world that how he is suffering, that black American just tell the world that how they are suffering through their poem, through their writings. So he opens his throat to sing, but the question arises that does he sings off under the trying circumstances? What does he sings, and what is his subject matter? So now in the next stanza, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of the freedom. So now this caged bird is terribly fearful, and he what does his fear? So there is a fear in his songs. Although he is singing, but there is a very much fear in his song, and his fearful trill, and he fear for harassment, torture, even death. You know that Maya Angelou, who is the writer of this poem, was a social activist and she was a feminist. She fought in a civil war, and she fought for the cause of Black Americans along with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So in the this struggle, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were killed. So that is the poem is telling that they are suffering a lot, but the bird still sings his song, although we can sense fear in his voice. So he is singing, but he is singing with a fearful voice, and he sings about his freedom and opportunities. He is singing that he also get freedom. He is also living being. He also get equal opportunities, like black Americans are demanding that they also should be given freedom from the slavery, and they should also be given equal opportunities. Now this caged bird sings longingly about the freedom in freedom. He sings about the opportunities about which he is unaware and denied, but that doesn't stop him for longing for it. Although he is not aware of the situation, but he is still longing, because all the human beings long for those same thing. There are birthright of every human beings. So that caged bird who is representing that black Americans, they are longing for the freedom, for the equal opportunities, because this is the birthright of every human being to long for freedom. The song that bird can never be confined and caged, even though he himself is confined. So although this bird is caged, his songs are free. People will know about his plight anyway. So although the black Americans were suffering under the slavery, under the discrimination, still they can write and they can tell the world that how they are suffering, and people will sympathize with them and they will help them to free their cage and slavery. And that happened. So so they were singing the tunes of the songs are carried to the distant land, and so people will ultimately know about them, and the tunes of the songs are carried to the distance and the far off hills and valley, that it is heard by the people who can help the caged bird. So to those who can be migrated to the free the caged bird. Why? Because caged bird sings of freedom. So this caged bird was singing, and they were inspiring the other birds. So this when while this black American were writing, like Maya Angelou herself, she was a poetess. She was writing about the conditions of black women and black people, and so in this way she was inspiring many black people that how they should get away from that of slavery. So the poetess Maya stresses here that people cannot be kept caged and oppressed for long. One day they must be free. They will struggle against all odds and express their voice. This voice will be heard by many people and in many places, and the impact of this voice will be too powerful to ignore. People will be bound to hear those voices, and they will be bound to help them. Now the next stanza, the fourth stanza. The free birds think of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the singing trees, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn, bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. So here the free birds is enjoying flying in the breeze and beauty of the sunset, and it started thinking another breeze should be there, and it means that now he is pining for the new opportunities. And in the same way, the black Americans are enjoying their life, and they are thinking about their growth in life. They want to more growth in their life, and the free bird is able to explore and um, experience blowing wind from long distance gently through the size tree. He is able to move to newer places and experiences new things. He has the freedom to find his own food. He can do as far as he can go as far as he likes, and he can enjoy fat worms waiting for him on the lawn brightly lit up at dawn. So this means that for the white man, for the white people, everything is made easy and convenient. They have right over everything. All the resources and the prosperity is for them, but they have no idea of the suffering and the agony of the black women and black men. So the birds enjoys the choicest food. The free bird is enjoying the choicest food, their favorite food, and their whatever they like, and he names the sky his own. This means that the free bird claims the entire sky is his own, and he says that the sky is his and his only. Similarly, the white man says that only he has the right over the resources of the whole world, and he has the opportunity all his own only. He is just thinking about his life only, and that the world has to offer. He does not even think of the sharing this opportunities with the other people, especially with the black community. But the caged next stanza, fifth stanza. But a caged bird stand on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on the nightmare scream. He his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So he opens his throat to sing. So the caged bird fate is not like free bird. It is confined, it is caged, and his dreams are also dead, and he is standing upon the graves of his dreams, and his dreams are dead and buried now, which is worst condition, because if there are no dreams, there is no hope, and that life is nothing except torture in that way. So he is so oppressed that he even his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream, so which daydreams, and his existence is ignored. He is not happy with his existence. So that caged bird is no longer even um, um, sure or confident of his identity, his existence. So he fears, and as if he feels as if he is a shadow, not a real bird, and still he is trying to scream loudly as a life that is like a nightmare, and his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So he opens his throat to sing. So in this stanza, um, we can say that this life of this black community is very, very trying, and they are suffering, and their very existence is in questionable. Even this worst situation, the bird opens his throat to sing because it is the only his songs that can liberate him. Now, next. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and this tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Now, now the poet is repeating third stanza of the poem. Here again, she does this too in order to emphasize that no matter how hopeless and frustrating the conditions are, and the caged bird will still continue to sing for freedom, and the song will be heard by many people, and he will express his suffering and his thirst for freedom. It will be heard for, and wide, and the black people will continue their struggle against all difficulties, because that caged bird represent black people, and with the passage of the time they will surely be liberated. So no matter what is the condition now, they will be surely liberated one day, and they are sure of that. So this is the poem, Caged Bird. Thank you so much for listening.